1 year since the London Bridge terror attack, which saw two inspirational young people lose their lives at the hands of terrorist Usman Khan.
Well, Jack Merritt was just 25 years old, and today Jack's father Dave, along with Jack's best friend Rosca Onya, join us to reflect on the last year and reveal why they want Jack's legacy to live on. And good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us. And Dave, I wanted to start off with you first of all. And, you know, when we think about this terrible, terrible thing that happened to your son, sometimes the person involved can get lost in sort of politics and the story and terrorism and all those things. And this was your child, this was your son. And what type of boy was he?
Jack was exceptional, but I guess we all think that about our children, don't we? He was a good student. He worked hard. He had an incredible work ethic. He absolutely loved the job he was doing. He had a huge circle of friends in Cambridge and from his time at Manchester University. And he just loved life, yeah. He loved food, he loved drinking, he loved his friends. And he obviously made quite an impression on the people that he worked with as well.
You say that he had time for everybody, and that was certainly been borne out with Learning Together, which he was working on. So tell us about that. What was that? How did that work?
Well, Learning Together was an educational project which was set up by the Department of Criminology at Cambridge University. So Ruth Armstrong and Amy Ludlow set up Learning Together, and they always are at pains to stress that it wasn't a rehabilitation project. It was an education project, and it involved students on the criminology course at Cambridge University going into prisons and working with prisoners on education projects, and they worked as equals. They learned from each other, hence the name of the programme. And yeah, Jack got an awful lot out of that course.
And that's what he was doing that day. And you were on your way back from work and you heard that there was a terror incident in London. And at this moment, you had no idea that your son was involved. When did you first hear the news?
Well, it kind of unfolded. As you say, I'd seen on Twitter and in the news that there was something happening at London Bridge. The first I really knew that Jack was involved was when I got home and my wife was beside herself saying that we needed to go to London because Jack had been involved in this incident. And that was all I knew at that point.
And you, when you did find out the horrifying news, the next day you tweeted, "My son Jack, who was killed in this attack, would not wish his death to be used as the pretext for more draconian sentencing or for detaining people unnecessarily." What made you tweet that?
Well, as soon as it happened, unfortunately, some people picked up on this and started to use it as a reason to promote longer prison sentences for all prisoners. Now, you have to remember that Usman Khan was a terrorist, convicted terrorist. Most of the people on the Learning Together course, in fact, I think nearly all of them are not terrorist prisoners. They are, they've done a variety of things. But it seemed to me that this was being used as a pretext to try and introduce longer sentences for all prisoners. And, I felt very strongly that Jack, we talked about this issue a lot, and Jack would have hated the fact of his death being used in that way, because it was diametrically opposed to what he believed in.
You've spoken about the toughest moment of your life was telling Jack's brother of his death, and as a family trying to pull yourself together, trying to put one foot in front of the other to kind of make sense of what happened. And it has been a year. How are you as a family? How are you coping?
We're doing okay, thanks, Holly. Yeah, we're doing okay. We get a lot of support. We've got a lot of very good friends who, they surrounded us with love at the time. We are in contact with a lot of Jack's good friends. They were absolutely brilliant at the time. They helped us to organise the funeral and a celebration, to celebrate Jack's life. And Yeah, it's been a difficult year, obviously, particularly with coronavirus. I mean, a lot of the things that we hoped would happen this year to commemorate Jack's life and to celebrate his life haven't been able to happen because of that. So we're kind of hoping that next year will be better.
One of the amazing things I think that you can say as a family with a son like him is that the people that he touched, the people that he came into contact with, the people whose lives he's changed and improved, and people he's inspired. And one of those is Rosca, and he's with us now. Jack met him in one of his visits to prison. I don't want to précis your life, Rosca, and if there's anything you want to, any colour you want to fill in here, then please do. But just for the process of us going through how he came to meet you, you're born in the Dominican Republic of Congo, witnessed horrors beyond imagining there, lost your parents, lost 2 siblings, arrive in the UK with absolutely no one to trust, and at that moment it's very easy to go down one track or go down another track. You found you were bullied at school, you found trust in gangs, and that's what eventually put you into prison. Is that a fair précis?
Yeah, it is a fair praising, but also say that I did want that sense of belonging, and I find that sense of belonging in the wrong departments, you know. So, but that's what happens when you don't really know anything else, and you come into a different country and you're not aware of what's what and what's going on. But yeah, I wouldn't blame everything on other people, because I also played my own part in stuff that I did. But yeah, definitely wouldn't put it all on anyone else. I'll take full responsibilities for my own actions. But yeah, my life has been a traumatic one. I was born in the DRC. I came to this country when I was about 9.5. My parents got arrested. We went through a traumatic event, me and my sisters. We spent 3 years in different refugee camps with our parents, till the Red Cross managed to track us down. And it's a long story, you know, it's a very long story. Lost a brother, we lost a sister. But yeah, and you know, I came to the country. School was traumatically challenging for me. I couldn't speak a word of English, even though I can express myself very clearly now. But when I first came to the country, I couldn't speak English, and I got picked on. The rest of it, you know? So
What did Jack mean to you? What sort of a person was Jack to you?
Jack was an inspiring young man. From the first moment, because there was a previous course that went on before I met Jack at Grendon, and we've learning together. So when I then got encouraged to do the course, we got designated group, and I straight away got put into Jack's group with Laura and the rest of us. And I didn't speak for about a week and a half because I felt like I couldn't contribute anything because I never finished school. You know, and all of that stuff. And from that moment on, Jack saw how quiet I was, and he just invested all his time that he could in me, and basically just enabled me to have a voice and told me that I can contribute to the group and bring my own experience into it, because I knew how it was to go through the prison system. I knew how it was to go through the certain system with the lack of legitimacy in loads of departments. So he just encouraged me to be myself.
Really importantly to what you're doing now is he encouraged you to use your music to have your voice heard. And what you're doing now is kind of taking that in full circle, really, and keeping his memory alive. And you want, it's a charity single, and you want the money that you raise from this, all profits totally, will be going to Learning Together, which is obviously what was incredibly important to Jack. Also Just for Kids Law and Not Guilty by Association. And so you are using your music to help.
Yeah, 100%. He's someone that worked with me on music and stuff, and encouraged me to write the right content and let myself be heard to the voice, and let my music speak for itself. So yeah, I decided to dedicate the single to Jack, to raise funds for various different causes that he stood for and he was passionate about. This is my way of giving back to him, and it just doesn't stop here, you know. So we've got a lot of things that we want to do, and just want to carry on his legacy, really, and just carry on telling the world how amazing Jack was.
You were on your way to the Fishmongers Hall on that horrible day. Got there, bridge closed, and couldn't get to see him because you were on your way to see him. What you have done, though, and which is lovely, Dave, is that as a family, you and Rosca have actually managed to find each other. So Dave, you must be thrilled that that Jack has inspired this track.
Oh yeah, yeah. I first met Rosca at Jack's funeral, and we just bonded straight away, really. And we've met him quite a few times since. You know, he's been to our house, and I can see why him and Jack got on so well. You know, they just liked each other and they had things in common. You know, they came from very different backgrounds, but you know, they bonded over a love of rap music, and yeah, they just got on really well. And we love Rosca, and what he's doing now is just absolutely fantastic. You know, to achieve what he's achieved from where he's come from is just absolutely brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
We really appreciate both of you taking the time to talk to us today. Our deepest sympathies with you, with the family, and with you, Rosca, for losing a friend as well. But congratulations on the single. It's Jack, and it is released on Sunday, and it's available on iTunes. And thank you both very much indeed for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.